He asked for probation, and baby Abby's mother made a plea for justice.
I'll never hear her call me mama or comfort her through her toughest moments. All the dreams I had for her were destroyed the day she died, and nothing can ever bring her back. This woman has shown no care, no remorse, and no respect for human life. She does not deserve leniency. She deserves the fullest extent of justice after walking free for almost 6 years.
The defense is asking the court to sentence Ms. Villa to 10 years probation. Ms. Villa was arrest and conviction free for 26 plus years. Being on probation will further deter her from any criminal conduct.
Villa's attorney says she plans to appeal the conviction. We're going to have much more on this story coming up on later editions of Hawaii News Now. A co-defendant in the Mike Miskey criminal enterprise will spend 14 years in prison after pleading guilty to racketeering. Norman Akau III was sentenced in federal court yesterday. He was also given 3 years of supervised release. Akau was one of the first defendants to take a plea deal. Prosecutors dropped a gun and drug-related charges in exchange for his testimony against Miskey. Miskey was found dead in his prison cell in December of last year after he was found guilty on 13 federal charges in July. And a judge says Juan Baron may not change his guilty plea for the murder of his 73-year-old lover on Hawaiiloa Ridge. The judge denied Baron's motion to withdraw from his deal with prosecutors yesterday. Baron told police he strangled Gary Ruby and encased his body in concrete at Ruby's mansion back in 2022. Now, under the plea deal, Baron will receive a life sentence with a chance of parole, but he'll have to serve a minimum of 20 years. Sentencing is set for July 30th. A Maui man accused of a love triangle murder in Ka'anapali was found guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Now, authorities say he killed a man who he believed had an affair with his wife. And as Derek Kravitsky reports, the victim's children feel justice has not been served.
One day he will have to meet his maker, the man above, and he will have to answer to him on why he did what he did.
These are 3 of the 7 children of Sione Paletua, the 53-year-old Wailuku man who was killed in a machete attack and left to die in a roadway last July.
It's just really surreal when you speak to someone that day and they're no longer here by the end of the day.
On Tuesday, jurors found Seniola Kafoa guilty of manslaughter instead of murder because they felt the death was caused recklessly, not intentionally. And instead of life behind bars, Kafoa will face up to 20 years in prison.
We are still going to try to fight justice for our dad, but I think I can say between us 3, we were slightly disappointed.
Court documents say Kafoa attacked Paletua because he was having an affair with Kafoa's wife. Paletua's children say his wife, their mother, passed away in 2011 following a battle with breast cancer.
We already lost our mom. Now we lost our father. And our youngest sibling, our brother, who's named after my dad, has to go through the rest of his life without his parents. And it's not fair.
Paletua Jr. is 16. His sisters say their father worked his whole life in construction, but they'll remember him as a family man.
He was someone that loved his kids. He lived for his kids. And even more, he lived for his granddaughter as well. And, now we're trying to relearn this new versions of ourselves without not only our mom, but now without our dad.
As for their father's killer, the Paletuas say they'll be in the courtroom for his sentencing on July 29th.
I would probably say, I'll never forgive you, I'll never forget you, and that's pretty much it. It gives us some sense of comfort and peace to know that our parents are now reunited, and that they have the best seats to watch us try to get through this crazy life.
Derek Kravitsky, Hawaii News Now.
Happening now on Kauai, fire crews are battling a brush fire in Kokee. It was first reported at around 6 a.m. near the intersection of Kokee Road and Waimea Canyon Drive. Now, at last check, it was about 2 acres in size, but we're told it is growing. And thankfully, no buildings are threatened at this time. But Waimea Canyon Drive from Panini Place to Kokee Road Junction is closed. We're going to pass along any updates as we get them. And let's take you live now to Kilauea, where the on-again, off-again eruption is off again. Now, this is after about 4.5 hours of lava fountaining yesterday. You can see plenty of fog still pumping from inside the crater there, but a far cry from yesterday's action. And here's a video of all that activity when the lava fountaining really increased in intensity. The USGS says the north vent was more active than the one in the south, with fountains spiking up 500 feet. This is Kilauea's 20th episode since the eruption began back on December 23rd.
And of course, we're still tracking the VOG forecast very closely. We've got trade winds in the forecast, so episode 20 of the eruption is going to look different than what we saw with episode 18. You can see the overall trade wind flow is going to be keeping the VOG plume off towards the west and southwest of the rest of the island chain. Of course, areas just along the Kona coast of Hawaii Island will continue to see lowered air quality and a lot of sulfur dioxide and VOG over on the western portions of Hawaii Island. Again, taking a look outside, it's breezy right now. Northeasterlies in town around 16 miles per hour, 26 in Kahului. So breezy trades are out there right now. I'll give you a full breakdown on our first alert windcast, tell you how long these trades are going to stick around, and walk you through our island by island forecast coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Major news today for NFL fans across the state. The Los Angeles Rams announced they'll be holding their mini camp next month on Maui. Governor Josh Green joined the team in LA today for the historic announcement.
This team has embraced us, has embraced Hawaii. And as was said, this is a historic opportunity for us to support the Rams and the Rams to support Hawaii.
The Rams Maui camp will be on the Valley Isle from June 16th to the 19th. Their visit includes a number of team and community events, including on-field workouts at Wailuku's War Memorial Stadium, girls and boys flag football clinics, and a field day for kids 5 through 12 years old. They'll also plan to work with Habitat for Humanity in helping rebuild some of the destroyed homes in Lahaina town. Select events are open and free to the public, and priority access will be given to Maui County residents. You can find more details on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Well, it's been talked about for years, but starting today, the TSA's Real ID rule is now being enforced. And if you don't have the right ID, you could miss your flight. Casey Lund is at Honolulu's airport with a look at how it's going.
Aloha and good afternoon from the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. We have been here since about 4:30 this morning, and when I first arrived, there were a lot of men's baseball teams from high schools here on Oahu traveling to Maui for a tournament. I had talked to some of the coaches about some of those young men, whether they were 18 and had those real IDs, or perhaps they were under 18. Again, this new change does not apply to those under 18, but even if you were in high school and had turned 18, you likely would have gotten a new driver's license. So they said their athletes didn't have any problems getting through. I also checked in with Hawaiian Airlines. They said they did have a couple of passengers that had to go and turn away from the TSA line. They didn't have those real IDs, but what we've heard from TSA has been pretty constant, that they're going to do what they can to help screen those passengers without real IDs. But the good news, as we heard from the City and County of Honolulu's Customer Services Department, that we have pretty high compliance numbers.
Here on Oahu, we're about 96% of everybody's IDs being real ID capable. So that means they should have no problem. Now, we've had a little bit of problems with some misprints or some technical issues, but other than that, everything's fine.
A history lesson about the Real ID Act passed in 2005 after 9/11 to enhance security. The TSA administrators say it's time to follow through on that law.
So if you don't have it, of course, we urge folks to go out, engage with your local and state DMV to get Real ID. But again, this is about enforcing the law that's been on the books for 20 years, and this law is critical to the safety and the security of our skies. If you do show up with a non-compliant state-issued ID, you will be okay. It just may take some additional time for screening, so we do urge folks to plan accordingly and leave a little extra time when traveling to the airport.
Today at the airport, we also wanted to talk to passengers, those who had their real ID. We also tried to find those who didn't. I ran into Sarah on her way to Las Vegas. Tell me, how long have you been hearing about this real ID act?
Oh, year and a half, 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have yours?
Oh, yeah, it's right away.
And what do you think about the folks that are still waiting till the last,
It's their fault.
Yeah.
They had enough time, notice, so yeah, they should have it by now.
And we don't need anybody holding us up on our way to wherever we're going.
Oh, no.
One last reminder, too, if you do still have to get a real ID from the DMV, the city and county says be patient because we're not the only municipality going through this. Most city and county state offices ship out their ID printing services to a contractor, those that are licensed to print the security enabled features on those IDs. So it may take the full 8 weeks to get your actual card back in the mail. Reporting at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, I'm Casey Lund. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Thank you, Case. Well, the world is watching a small chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, waiting for a sign that a new pope has been chosen. White smoke means a new pope has been chosen, and black smoke means he hasn't. Bradley Blackburn is at the Vatican, where the conclave to pick a successor to Pope Francis is underway.
Black smoke rose up over St. Peter's Square Wednesday, signaling the cardinals were unsuccessful in selecting a new pope in their first round of voting.
This is a feeling out exercise. A conservative cardinal, leading conservative cardinal elector, told me yesterday that a bunch of them intend to vote for Cardinal Erdo from Hungary to see how much strength they actually have on the first ballot.
Earlier in rituals going back centuries, the 133 voting cardinals entered the Sistine Chapel, each taking an oath of secrecy before the doors to the historic chapel closed, marking the official start of the conclave and cutting them off from communications with the outside world.
I'm not Catholic, but I come from a Catholic family, and so just having that history behind it and being able to witness this, really beautiful and very emotional.
The cardinals come from 70 countries, including 10 from the U.S. Pope Francis chose the overwhelming majority. That black smoke is a disappointment for the thousands gathered here in St. Peter's Square, but it's no surprise. No pope in modern history has been elected on the first ballot. A new CBS News poll shows more than a third of U.S. Catholics hope the next pontiff will be more conservative than Pope Francis, while 21% want someone more progressive. What are you hoping for in a new pope?
A holy man. Hopefully somebody that is a pragmatist and somewhat conservative.
We really need someone who can accept and embrace everyone regardless of where you're from.
The Cardinals will keep casting ballots until they reach a 2/3 consensus. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, the Vatican.
The first negotiations in the trade standoff between the U.S. and China are set to begin. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on the high-stakes talks between the world's largest economies.
Plus, for the second time in a week, an American fighter jet is lost from the same aircraft carrier. What went wrong after the break? effects of the trade war between the U.S. and China are surfacing, and the pressure could lead to talks to end the high reciprocal tariffs. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
Big job. And say hello to President Xi when you're over there, please, okay?
President Trump praised David Perdue, who was sworn in as the new U.S. ambassador to China.
Now I'm entrusting David to help manage one of America's most complex and consequential foreign relationships.
Perdue takes over as tensions between China and the U.S. remain high over tariffs.
What timing, David? What timing?
For the first time since the standoff began, the countries are preparing to engage in trade talks beginning this weekend.
I will be going to Switzerland, and the negotiations will begin on Saturday.
The mounting economic pressure on both sides helped drive China and the U.S. to the negotiating table.
The big stock market decline, the bond market situation, the reduction of the importance of the American dollar, all of these things have been seen and need to be remedied right away.
Professor Robert Sutter is the former division chief for the State Department's Bureau of Intelligence and Research. He says Trump's sweeping tariffs have isolated China.
All these other countries are negotiating with the United States, but not them. They're the holdout. And I don't think they want to be in that position.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the first deals with other trade partners could be announced as soon as this week. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Another American F/A-18 fighter jet has been lost overboard. Now, it happened on the same aircraft carrier, the USS Harry S. Truman, that the previous plane fell from a little more than a week ago. Charlie D'Agata has more from Washington.
For the second time in just 9 days, an F-18 Super Hornet fighter jet aboard the Truman has ended up at the bottom of the Red Sea. A U.S. defense official tells CBS News the jet was coming in to land Tuesday when it failed to catch the wire, known as a failed arrestment, sending a $70 million aircraft overboard. Both pilots safely ejected and were rescued by a helicopter. They're recovering from minor injuries. Just last week, another Super Hornet rolled off the hangar deck while being towed. One sailor was hurt there. The Truman has been deployed in the Red Sea since the fall, leading strikes against Iranian-backed Houthi militants in Yemen. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson confirmed in a post Tuesday night the DoD is monitoring the situation and that aircraft was not struck by the Houthis. Despite the recent mishaps, officials say the strike group remains fully mission capable. An investigation into both incidents is now underway. Charlie D'Agata, CBS News, Washington.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we'll take you over to our first alert forecast. Breezy trades and showers going to persist over the next couple of days.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Aloha, everybody. Let's walk through our First Alert weather headlines. We've got breezy trades and showers over the next couple of days. A really typical summer-like pattern here in Hawaii. These breezy trades sticking around all the way into next week, and a focus of showers over Windward and Mauka locations. Let's take a look at our actual VOG forecast again. You can see outside again the VOG plume, especially from episode 20 of the eruption at Kilauea. All of the VOG going to be staying off towards the west and southwest of Hawaii Island, really not impacting Maui County, Oahu, or Kauai very much. And our hour-by-hour forecast, beautiful out there right now from our tower cam. 84 degrees, northeasterlies around 16 miles per hour. We're going to be in the green, seeing fair weather throughout the rest of this evening. If we do see any impactful weather, it's going to be later tonight, mostly over Windward and Mauka locations. Again, temperatures getting down to around the mid-70s for lows tonight. Our island-by-island forecast for Thursday. Scattered showers and partly sunny conditions. East-northeasterlies between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sometimes gusting a little bit closer to 20 miles per hour. 86 in town, 79 in Kaneohe, 85 in Kapolei, and 80 degrees up in Kahuku. The windward sides of the island have a better chance for showers and will be a little bit cooler out there. Maui County, isolated showers and mostly sunny. 81 in Kaunakakai, 77 in Lanai City, and then 85 in Kahului, 84 in Kihei. And then moving over to the western side of Hawaii Island, scattered evening showers and foggy conditions. Foggy in Kailua Kona and in Captain Cook. East Hawaii, scattered morning showers, partly sunny, moving up to the northern portions of the island. Mostly sunny, northeasterlies between 15 to 25 miles per hour, sometimes gusting a little bit higher than that, closer to 30 miles per hour. Going forward in our First Alert Futurecast, I want you to pay attention to the eastern half of the state. This is throughout the rest of this afternoon. You're seeing some showers over the windward portions of Maui and also along the Kona side of Hawaii Island. Later tonight, a better chance for showers across all windward areas, and that'll be the pattern going all the way into the weekend. Our First Alert windcast, breezy trades sticking around all the way into next week. You can see as we're going into Friday afternoon, between 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds expected statewide. Our surf and shoreline forecast, north facing shores around 3 to 5 feet, west facing shores 2 to 4, and a solid south swell expected on Friday, which could potentially bring high surf advisories for south-facing shores. Breezy out there today. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday looking to be relatively sunny with some windward and Mauka showers. Going to be warm going forward.
Thank you, Drew. Coming up, if you like videos of dancing animals, we have a story for you. Meet the sea lion with rhythm. He's become a social media star. let's end the show with some good news. A quirky new study starring a sea lion with impeccable rhythm shows the viral star outperforming humans at headbanging.
Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A rhythmically trained sea lion made famous for keeping the beat is back for an encore, and researchers say she's now outperforming humans. Keeping tempo with a musical beat can be tricky for some, whether it's just nodding along or plotting a song.
Not quite my tempo.
But not for Ronan the sea lion. It seems she's a natural. Ronan went viral in 2013 when researchers at UC Santa Cruz shared video of the sea lion accurately keeping time with varying musical beats, calling her the only non-human mammal to demonstrate highly precise beat keeping. Now, a new study published in the journal Scientific Reports pitted Ronan against human subjects in a series of timekeeping tests using a drum beat, and data showed the sea lion consistently outperformed her human counterparts, keeping her precision to within a razor-thin 15 milliseconds of the target downbeat. The fascinating study suggests the ability to keep time is not a uniquely human feat. It also showed not only has she got the beat, she's got us beat. In what may not be music to the ears of traveling Tolkien nerds, a pair of Hobbit-inspired sculptures will no longer be flying the friendly skies. Originally part of a 2013 promotion for the Hobbit movie trilogy, these colossal creations have soared over travelers in the Wellington, New Zealand airport for more than a decade. The massive Middle-earthian models will finally be brought down and retired. Don't worry, the giant creepy Gollum is staying put. But for those of you used to seeing Gandalf flying over you in the airport, just know that you shall not pass under him any longer. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Those were two very interesting stories.
Yeah, very not related at all. But were you a Lord of the Rings?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually very sad to see those taken down. That's
right.
That's
and
a loss.
that sea lion has very strong neck muscles.
Yeah, I was thinking that. He's probably gets a workout every time he does that.
Very cute. All right, thank you so much for watching This Is Now. Let's take you one last time outside with a live look towards Aloha Tower. Beautiful conditions for this Aloha Wednesday. We're going to have much more news first at 4 right here on KHNL. Aloha.